am Shiftable Podcast, where each episode you begin to shift your state into your true essence. Every week, Reiki, sound, and meditation masters Lindy and Mars will help you make small shifts through meditation, sound healing, Reiki, Yoga Nidra, and other mindful modalities so that you can start, continue, or expand your meditative practice and ultimately transform your healing journey. Experience divine bliss and be able to affirm again and again, I am shiftable. Hello and welcome to episode number 2. My name is Lindy. So it's so much fun to be able to do this podcast with my very good friend Mars. Together, we have designed some really exciting material for you, so you'll want to stick around and tune in each week as we launch more episodes that will explore simple and easy mindfulness techniques that will allow us to shift every day, even if it's just a little bit. So today, in this episode, I would like to speak a little bit about our life here on this plane. And I think most of us can agree that the number one thing really that we want for ourselves and our loved ones is happiness. One of the biggest impacting things that I heard from my mother was, Lindy, I don't care what you do. I just want you to be happy. And I think for all of us, this life can be so challenging at times. So what do we do when those times present themselves? What are we practicing? Is our knee-jerk decision to maybe have something to drink or cope with it in another harmful way? Or is it to talk to other people and tell people, spill everything that's going on with your life and hoping that someone else will take the burden from you? What is it that we're doing? What we're doing is going outside of ourselves for an answer that is found only in one place, and that's within. In order to get there, we must stop all the thoughts, all the movement, and just sit and be in silence. What I have found with the meditation practice is that you get this space of stillness, that there are no thoughts. So on an average, we think between 60 and 80,000 thoughts in a day. What amount of those thoughts do you think are positive in nature? And what amount of those thoughts do you think are negative in nature? If we're doing a daily practice on constant, stressful, or negative thoughts, guess what we're getting really good at? If we had a choice to encourage ourselves or discourage ourselves, which would we consciously choose? Well, I'd like to say that we would consciously choose to encourage ourselves, but unconsciously we choose the latter. And that's where breath work, meditation, mindfulness, sound healing, and Reiki come into play, because these techniques have been around for 5,000 years, and they're all there to help calm the central nervous system, restore balance and harmony within our lives so we can ultimately continue our lives happily. So here's a little bit about my story. I grew up in a pretty happy home. My mother raised 4 kids by herself. After my parents split up, I was 6. My mother was born and raised in Manhattan, so she was well-rounded, strong, and highly gifted spiritually. I look back at it now, and over all of the years of her teachings growing up, I feel like I grew up with a guru, and that was my mother. After high school, I went to college for a bit, then decided to go into the Army as a musician. I was attached to the 82nd Airborne Division. My MOS was O2 Bravo, which basically said that I was a trumpet player. I was also airborne qualified, which meant that I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane 25 times. After 3 years of service, I decided to get out and go to school in London, England. So I moved to London and was there about 6 months when I got a call from my mom saying that she was diagnosed with congested heart failure. I left London 2 days after that and was able to spend the last 2 years with her, and she passed at age 56. Needless to say, I was devastated. I can honestly say I was devastated for 10 years. I look back and really felt like I was lost for 10 years. I climbed a corporate ladder doing something I had no interest in, just living life
by default, no longer really having a purpose. And I suffered a car accident in 2000. And that was another pivotal point for me. That was actually the catalyst that led me further down this path of yoga and meditation and mindfulness. So the car accident left me with a neck injury and paralysis down both arms. So the reality with me was I would never be able to play professionally trumpet again. So for the first 3 or 4 years of that, I was taking medications, pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, and they just kept me in the same space of not getting any better, getting weaker. I was going through different modalities like chiropractic therapies, massage therapies with triggering points, and I call them torturing points at the time. So my reality was I was going to be in pain for the rest of my life, and what I thought described me or defined me was music was gone. So I became angry, I was frustrated, I was not a very nice person to be around, I was in pain, and my reality at the time was really grim. I was going through this space of who am I? And I look back at the accident and thank God every day for that accident, because there are no accidents. I'm here to tell you. What we experience in our life, we're supposed to experience so we can learn from them, grow from them, and maybe share from your experience. During this time, I was caring for my 98-year-old grandmother. And during this part of my journey, I realized that I was in so much pain, and I wasn't probably the most easiest person to live with. I was cranky, I was upset, I was frustrated, and I'd never really understood fatigue until this point in my life. So my grandmother, 98 years old, I had people, a lot of my friends were asking me what contributed to her longevity. And I came up with 3 things. She'd always cooked her own meals. She always walked and always managed to stay 5 pounds within what she felt her normal weight was. And she did these stretches that she had clipped out from a newspaper that resemble what yoga postures are. And she always prayed the rosary every morning and every night. I remember when I was young, I went into her bedroom where she was standing in front of her dresser with a candle lit and was reciting the rosary. I remember how peaceful and how beautiful the whole image was of her just standing there still, going through her beads and reciting the prayers. Shortly after that, I began to look into this idea of prayer beads, and I purchased this book by Gray Henry and Suzanne Marriott called Beat of Faith. And this book outlined all religions and practices that use prayer beads. The ones that I resonated with were Buddhism and Hinduism. I then began to read everything that I could about Buddhism, Hinduism, prayer beads, mantras, and chanting. I had found an old bookmarker in one of my mom's books that I had, and it had the store Spiral Circle, this beautiful, loving, spiritual store in downtown Orlando. It's been there for over 30 years. As I walked around and kind of was feeling my mom and feeling into this space, and I found the prayer beads and I purchased them and went home. The first time I sat down with my beads, and I was very uncomfortable because I was in a lot of pain, but I closed my eyes and I went through each bead reciting my mantra out loud. All in all, what I did took about 20 minutes. I remember after that getting up and getting ready for work, driving into work, and everything seemed like it shifted. It was kind of like looking out of a kaleidoscope and then shifting it. And the sun was shining differently, the birds were singing differently, I heard every sound, I heard everything sounded differently. I went to work, interacting with people were different, me sitting at my desk, I wasn't as much pain and I wasn't as fatigued. And something changed. From that moment on, I realized that I was onto something. And I thought I knew what the power of sound was. I am a professional trumpet player. I now know what the true power of sound is. And that's the innermost quiet, the inner sound that we make through our own voice and our own ability. This sound is healing, transformative, and pure. It's our pure, most innocent essence. And the more that we tap into this without having any sort of outside fear of toning out loud or saying certain things out loud, the more in alignment we get to who we really are. And that is all part of this beautiful journey. Those aspects of us that are indeed our truest self. And then every day tuning into our heart space and making sure that we are living our truth. We're asking ourselves questions. Does this feel good to me? Does this not feel good to me? Does this feel good to me? What doesn't feel good to me? And calibrating ourselves as we go. And this is ultimately why Mars and I decided to band together and teach from what we know. And in episode 3, we get to unfold the story of how we met in India and the experiences that we had there. So you'll want to stay tuned for episode number 3. We are so happy and proud to be able to offer what it is we have learned and have found and have grown into. The practices that we have encountered and what we now teach and practice ourselves are essential. So as I wrap up my episode, I would love for you to join me in a guided meditation using Tibetan sound bowls. So take a nice, comfortable seat or lie down, whichever is comfortable for you, and close your eyes. As you're settling in, take a nice, slow inhalation and slowly exhale all of your air. Pause for a moment on the exhalation. And when you're ready, slowly inhale. When you're ready, exhale all of the air and find stillness at the full exhalation for a moment. When you're ready, slowly inhale. Exhale when you're ready, and just find your breath nice and easy, normal, natural breaths. And becoming more aware of the inhalation and the exhalation, notice as you breathe in, the belly gently rises. And as you breathe out, the belly gently falls. Become more aware of your body and notice your rib cage. Noticing that they're rising as you inhale, and notice them falling as you exhale. This is your very own unique rhythm of your body. Normal, natural breathing. Relaxing and soothing to the nervous system. Now bring your awareness to your nose. As you breathe in, notice the coolness of the air coming into the nostrils. And as you breathe out, notice the change in temperature. Just becoming aware. Breathing in, noticing the coolness. And exhaling, noticing the warmth. Now bring your awareness to your body. Maybe your arms or your face that is exposed to the air. Notice how the air feels against your skin. Is it cool? Are you comfortable? Is it warm? Just noticing how you feel. And then bring your awareness to the space in between your skin and the air. Notice there's a space there. Or just becoming aware of the possibility of a space between your skin and the air. Come back to the breath. And as you breathe in, mentally say to yourself, rising. And as you breathe out, mentally say to yourself, falling. Rising, falling. Bring your awareness to your ears and notice the sounds of the bowls. Notice how they feel. Notice the resonance. Notice the vibrations, the overtones. Notice if you can sense any of these. Coming back to the breath. So bring your awareness to your heart center. And noticing this nice green ball of loving light. Maybe it starts like a pinpoint in the middle of your heart. And it slowly expands to the size of your heart, this radiant globe of green. The color of the heart chakra, the energy center in the heart. Maybe you notice pulsating along with your heartbeat. Bringing your awareness to your ears, can you hear or feel or sense your heart beating in this moment? Being perfectly still, just becoming aware. We're going to take that green light and expand it out to the width of our body. And we'll expand it out further to the width of the room. Expand it out further to the width of the state that you're in, the country that you're in. Expand it out the width of the world. Expand it out to the width of the universe. Expand it out into the galaxy. And notice if you can feel yourself floating at a space outside in the universe. Notice how that feels. Allow yourself to feel detached from everything. Just floating. Here together we are going to acknowledge, I am shiftable. I am shiftable. I am shiftable. Take a few more breaths. Feeling the belly rising and falling. Noticing how relaxed you are, how at peace. Bring a gentle smile in the face and allow it to fill up in your heart. Noticing the 600 trillion cells that you have in your body light up like a Christmas tree. A small gesture of your mouth. Slight smile, and allow yourself to be in this joyful state of bliss, happiness, and contentment. You are so worthy. You are here to do something really special. And together we'll uncover all that. Find your breath. Slowly breathe in And slowly breathe out. Slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe out. Slowly breathe in. And slowly breathe out. Bring that smile back on your face. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through that meditation. I look forward to more opportunities to speak to you and offer more meditations and guidance. Thank you so much. Namaste.
We are grateful you chose to exchange your energy during our time together today. If you would like to take your practice deeper with guidance on things like unifying your breath, mastering meditative postures, and a variety of meditations, you can become a Patreon member by signing up at patreon.com/I am Shiftable. That's patreon.com/I am Shiftable. Until next week, enjoy every shift, my love.